Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Cindy Daycheck with Queen Bee Creations, and we're gonna do a little craft today. Now, I'm kind of thinking spring, even though you can see I'm in multiple layers because it's cold outside right now. We just had a snowstorm and the wind is blowing out there and it's just yucky. So what I wanted to do was, I don't know why I started to think of kind of spring, but I did. So we're gonna go with it. We're just doing a quick little craft. This is kid friendly, so if you wanted to do this with your kids, go for it. What we're doing is we are taking wooden skewers. Now mine are long, so I cut them down. So I just used some snips. They cut down. You want to leave enough room. These are going to be like plant stakes almost. We're gonna put them into our little potted plants. And what we're gonna make very quickly, very sweet, are just little mushrooms. So we need enough clay. I'm just kind of close off that end a little bit. We want to have the stalk or the stem of the mushroom. And here, I'm not going for realism, folks. I am just making a mushroom shape. So I want to just glue up my skewer a little bit here so that as I push that, I'm leaving the pointy end alone, and I'm just going to push my skewer up through that clay. And I'm just going to take it down a little bit because I need to put the cap on there still. But you can see I just have roughly kind of a stem shape. And then I'm just going to glue my finger, take another little piece of clay, and I'm going to make a cap. And again, I can make my mushroom look however I want. So I did one that is very mushroom looking, pretty typical. I think I'm gonna make this one. I did two sizes of skewers, so I have a shorter one. So this one I'm gonna make a little bit of kind of a taller cap. Not super tall, but just, you get to kind of play. I mean, that's the advantage of it. So I'm hollowing out up the top a little bit here, just because that's where my gills are. And I'm gonna flatten it out just a little bit so it opens up. Now here, I've got an X-Acto knife and I'm just taking that around very quickly and lightly, just kind of scoring on the inside to look like it's all those mushroom gills. I don't know that anybody's actually going to look on the inside of this. So this could be just a redundant step, because really when these are stuck down into a flower pot, unless somebody takes it out and turns it upside down, they're never going to see this. So you do you. But then what I'm going to do is I am going to put a little dollop of glue just in the center of that cap. And I'm going to glue the end of my skewer. And I've left enough of the skewer so that I can push that up into the clay and have enough of that clay kind of sitting there. And I'm just going to kind of tip that back a little bit. And there's my next little mushroom. And I'm just gonna set it off to the side to dry. Now I'm doing this on a, okay, stay. Okay, I'm doing this on a Saturday. I'm not here on a Sunday. So in essence, I'm gonna leave it over 2 nights to dry. And I think that's probably about right because they're fairly big lumps of clay, right? It's not little thin molds that are drying overnight. these have have bigger, fatter, thicker stems, but probably overnight is enough, certainly for painting. Okay, this one I'm just going to make it a little bit longer, and I think skewer wise I'll get it in and kind of roll it on a skewer so that it's a little bit more adhered. So again, you know, how tall and skinny you want the stem, what kind of shape you want on it. And this doesn't have to be, yeah, see, I need that glue on there. It just wants to roll around. So let me, because at the end of the day, I want this to adhere. Now, worst comes to worst. I mean, I can glue it once it's dry too, but. All right, I'm just gonna make a couple more because I'm on a roll. And then I'll come back to you when they're dry and we get to start to paint them up. Our little mushrooms they just look cute sitting there like that. They've had the weekend to dry, so they are ready to be painted. And what I do have is just a piece of plastic wrap down here that I'm going to squirt my paints on, paint them, and then I can just scrunch this up and throw it out. And you can use whatever paint that you want, whatever paint that you have. If you have tempera paints, you could use that. Acrylic paints, furniture paint, it doesn't matter. So I have some acrylic paints. These are just little inexpensive, really doesn't matter the brand. This is not even like an awesome brand. This just came in a big Gigantico pack from Michael's, so the local craft store. So I just have a couple of little beiges and just sticking a little squirt out there. I'm not sure what I'm gonna use. I do have rolled that in the beige. All right, well, you know, that's just how it goes. All right, wipe that off before I get it all over me. That's why I can't wear nice things. So I have a couple of reds, and because I figure I'm going to do a couple with this permanent red. And this looks like it's going to be more of an orangey red, kind of in a scarlet. And this one, a little bit darker, crimson. So I'm just squirting out some colors here in anticipation of using them. I think I'll probably use a dark brown, but sparingly, just more for shading and shadowing. I know that I'll need a white if I want to do the typical red mushroom with white dots. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I'll do a couple like that, you know, that have the flat tops. And you can see like we've got the lines underneath. And then a couple that are not like that. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to paint the bases more in sort of my cream. And I just have an assortment of little brushes. And the glue on the inside of them fit just fine. I mean, you know, work just fine to be able to hold that cap in place. It seems pretty solid and steady. And, you know, it just paints up just fine. All right, so there's my basic bottom. And I'm just going to take some of the darker tone and just kind of blend it up and in a little bit so that they're just not one tone. You could just do it with one tone, however. You get to paint these however you want. And you could do them very, I was going to say whimsically. I don't know if that's a word. Is that a word? You could just paint them for fun. So they could be oranges and purples and whatever color you would like them to be, they could be. And I think I'll do a red cap on this one. And again, I'm just going to paint it one solid red, and then I'm going to use the others to just kind of blend a little bit so that we create a little bit of variation. But this is all that we're doing now, is we are just painting up these little mushrooms, and they're going to be so cute. So I'm just going to carry on. I'm going to carry on painting, and I'll come back and I'll show you what I got. And the idea is that they're on the picks. Once they're dry and I can handle them, then they can just simply be stuck into little plant pots. And I think that it's a really cute idea to just kind of dress those up. You know, you just have this little extra something that's sitting there, a little pop of color, a little bit of interest that's sitting in that little pot off to the side, and you know, whether people notice or not. Now that my paint is dry, the last little thing that I want to do is just kind of age them a little bit, or just make them look a little less pristine, because they're mushrooms, they grow outside, they're not going to be perfect. And so I have a makeup sponge just from the dollar store, and I have an archival ink. So this is just in vintage photo, which means it's just like an old brown. So if you look at this one, it's a little blah, and we're just going to add a little dusting of the brown. So you can see on the stem already that we're getting just a little bit of extra color. Now, you could do this with an aging powder. You could do it with a little bit of maybe a dark wax. So you could do it with shoe polish. So you don't have to have all of these things necessarily. You're using what you got, right? But you can see that now that mushroom looks a little bit more weather worn, right? It's been hanging outside a little bit more. And I'm thinking I want to get gray. So I'm gonna go grab some gray so that I can add that in too and layer that. So I'll show you what that looks like. So this ink that I used is from the Ranger line. The gray that I'm gonna use is from IOD. So it's an IOD ink, and I'm just using the same makeup sponge. I didn't want to use black because I think it would be just a little bit harsher. And I'm just really looking for this to be subtle. So you can kind of see that gray getting layered over some of that brown. It's just kind of deepening it a little bit. Okay, I like that. All right, this little pale guy too. He needs a little gray. And it's just the stems of these guys. Okay, all right, these are so cute. All right, so let me show you the red ones. So the typical little caps. I really like this thin capped one. I like how it's kind of tilted on the side, right? But paired together, these will be super cute. Okay, I stuck you in the wrong way, and he's a little bit backward. And if I pair them together, you need to get cut off here. Just, you know, fixing my mistake. All right, because then if they're the same length and they get pushed in the same amount, like to the stems, then this will kind of hover above it. That's cute. Okay, and then these two guys, they are as well Again, more in the natural tone. I'm going to cut him off because I think that's just too long a stem. Awesome. So I'll take some pics of these in a plant. I'll find a plant. I don't know, something. But just kind of cute and kind of fun, and just a lovely little way of using some of your clay, playing with it a bit, creating some little pics. I think this is kind of a super cute little idea. If you were going to be gifting somebody with a little plant for their home as a housewarming, tuck one or two of these little mushroom pics in there, just to, you know, zhuzh it up a little bit, make it a little bit more fun, personalize it a little bit. Let me know what you think of this one, guys. A little different, but I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with these. Sometimes it's surprising. Sometimes I have more fun with something than I think I'm gonna. And I don't know why, just these mushrooms did it for me. You know, just sometimes it happens. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And yeah, comments. See you soon. Until the next one, take care.